Let me ask you this. Who here wants to be successful? Raise your hand. Good. Now keep your hand raised if you've ever felt like no matter what you do, success keeps slipping through your fingers. Hard work, it's what we've been told to focus on our entire lives. Work hard and you'll succeed. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But let me ask you something. How many of you have ever worked your absolute hardest, poured every ounce of energy into something only to fall flat? How many of you have put in the hours, the sweat, the late nights, and still found yourself stuck in the same spot? That's because hard work by itself is not enough. You see, there's a big difference between working hard and working smart. It's like running on a treadmill. You're exhausted, you're drenched in sweat, but guess what? You haven't gone anywhere. You can work hard all day, every day, but if your energy is being spent in the wrong direction, you're just spinning your wheels. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Success isn't about how hard you work. It's about how aligned your work is with your goals. It's about having clarity, knowing exactly where you're going and why. Too many people confuse busyness with progress. Just because you're doing a lot doesn't mean you're achieving a lot. And let's talk about distractions. We live in a world where every notification, every email, every so-called urgent task is pulling us in a million directions. You might be working hard, but if you're working on things that don't move the needle toward your goals, you're killing your success one wasted hour at a time. The key is to stop and ask yourself, what am I working toward? Is this effort helping me get there, or is it just keeping me busy? Success requires focus. It requires direction. It requires you to step off the treadmill and start running towards something real. Hard work is important, don't get me wrong, but hard work without strategy is like building a house without a blueprint. You might end up with something, but it's probably not what you wanted, and it definitely won't stand the test of time. So stop for a moment, reassess. Are you working hard or are you working right? Because that simple shift can change everything. Self-sabotage is a quiet, subtle enemy. Most of the time we don't even realize it's happening. It doesn't come crashing in like a storm. It whispers, it nudges, it plants seeds of doubt and procrastination. And the scariest part, it's so subtle that we often mistake it for normal behavior. Think about it. How many times have you set a goal, something you were truly excited about, only to find yourself hesitating, second-guessing, or dragging your feet? You convince yourself it's not the right time, that you need more information, or that you're not quite ready. That hesitation, that's self-sabotage. It shows up in our thoughts. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? And it shows up in our actions. Scrolling through social media instead of making that call. Binge watching shows instead of working on your dream. Choosing the easy path instead of the right one. It's insidious because it feels comfortable, even logical. But comfort and logic, unchecked, can be the very chains that keep us from moving forward. Here's the real kicker. Self-sabotage often disguises itself as protection. Your mind tells you it's keeping you safe from failure, from rejection, from discomfort. But in reality, it's keeping you small. It's keeping you in a loop where you never take the risks necessary to grow. You see, success requires you to push beyond your fears and doubts. It demands that you step into uncertainty and embrace the possibility of failure. But most people don't realize they're the ones holding themselves back. They think the problem is external, the circumstances, the competition, the lack of resources. But the real battle is internal. So how do you stop it? The first step is awareness. Recognize the patterns. Catch yourself when you're making excuses or delaying action. Ask yourself, is this decision bringing me closer to my goal, or am I just avoiding the hard work? Then challenge those thoughts. Replace what if I fail with what if I succeed. Replace doubt with action. Because here's the truth. The moment you stop sabotaging yourself, the moment you decide to take responsibility for your success, everything changes. You stop being your own worst enemy and start becoming your biggest ally. And that's when the real transformation begins. Excuses are like walls we build around ourselves, not to protect us, but to limit us. They start small, almost harmless, but before you know it, they become the very barrier standing between you and your success. The worst part? Most excuses sound reasonable. They feel justified in the moment. Think about the last time you told yourself, I don't have enough time, or I don't have the right connections, or even I'm just not ready yet. These excuses might feel valid. They might even seem like facts, But if you strip them down, they're just stories. Stories you tell yourself to avoid the discomfort of growth. Here's the thing about excuses. They give you temporary relief. They let you off the hook. They make you feel better about not taking action. But that relief comes at a cost. Every excuse you make robs you of an opportunity to learn, to grow, to prove to yourself that you're capable of more. And let's be honest, success isn't convenient. It doesn't show up when everything in your life is perfectly aligned. It doesn't wait for the ideal moment or the perfect circumstances. Success demands that you rise above the excuses and take action, even when it's hard, even when it's messy, even when it's uncomfortable. Now, here's the truth. Every single person who has achieved greatness has faced the same challenges you have. They've been busy. They've lacked resources. They felt unprepared. But the difference is, they didn't let those things become their excuses. They saw them as obstacles to overcome, not reasons to quit. So the next time you hear yourself saying, I can't because, stop and ask yourself, is this an excuse or a legitimate limitation? And if it's an excuse, challenge it, flip the script. Instead of saying, I don't have enough time, say, how can I make time? Instead of saying, I'm not ready, say, what can I do to get ready? Because here's the truth. Excuses are easy, but success isn't. If you're willing to take a hard look at the stories you're telling yourself and start replacing them with solutions, there's no limit to what you can achieve. The question is, are you ready to stop making excuses and start making progress? Let's talk about the people you surround yourself with. We've all heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But do you really understand how powerful that is? The truth is, the relationships in your life can either lift you up or pull you down, and most people don't realize just how much influence others have over their success. Take a moment and think about the people in your inner circle. Are they pushing you to be better? Are they challenging you to grow, to dream bigger, to stay disciplined? Or are they comfortable with mediocrity, constantly complaining, or even subtly undermining your goals? Toxic relationships don't always come with warning signs. Sometimes it's the small things, a dismissive comment about your ambition, a sarcastic remark about your efforts, or a lack of support when you're trying to improve yourself. It's not just about the obvious negativity, though. Even well-meaning people can hold you back if they're stuck in their own comfort zones. Maybe they're not intentionally trying to sabotage you, but their mindset rubs off on you. Their fear becomes your fear. Their excuses start sounding like your excuses. Their lack of ambition begins to feel like the norm. Success requires you to be intentional about your relationships. It's not about cutting everyone out of your life. It's about creating boundaries and making room for people who inspire, motivate, and challenge you. If you're constantly surrounded by people who are satisfied with good enough, it becomes that much harder to strive for greatness. Now, this doesn't mean you can only associate with people who have already made it. It means finding those who share your hunger for growth, those who understand what it means to sacrifice, to fail, and to keep going anyway. These are the people who remind you of your potential when you start to doubt yourself. And here's the hard part. Sometimes the people closest to you, the ones you care about the most, might be the ones holding you back. It's not easy to recognize, and it's even harder to address, but you have to ask yourself, what's more important, maintaining relationships that keep you comfortable or building the future you deserve? The people in your life should be your cheerleaders, your accountability partners, your challengers, and if they're not, it's time to reevaluate, because success isn't just about what you do, it's about who you allow to influence you along the way. Choose wisely. Your future depends on it. Fear, it's one of the most powerful forces in the human experience, and it's also one of the biggest obstacles to success. What's fascinating and often paralyzing is that fear doesn't just show up in one form. It wears many masks, and 2 of the most dangerous ones are the fear of failure and the fear of success. Let's start with the fear of failure. It's something most of us are all too familiar with. That voice in your head that says, what if I try and I fall flat on my face? What if I make a fool of myself? What if I lose everything? Fear of failure convinces you that it's safer to stay where you are, to avoid the risk, to keep your dreams locked away where they can't be shattered. But here's the truth. Failure isn't the enemy. In fact, failure is a teacher, a stepping stone, a necessary part of the journey. Every successful person you admire has failed, often spectacularly, on their way to the top. Now let's talk about the other side of the coin, the fear of success. At first glance, it doesn't seem logical. Why would anyone be afraid of succeeding? But when you dig deeper, it makes perfect sense. Success comes with change, and change can be terrifying. Success means stepping into a new version of yourself, one that may feel unfamiliar or even overwhelming. It means more responsibility, higher expectations, and sometimes losing the comfort of the life you've known. Maybe you're afraid that if you succeed, people expect more from you and you won't be able to deliver. Maybe you're afraid of outgrowing your friends, your environment, or even your old identity. The fear of success whispers, what if I'm not ready? What if I can't handle it? What if I lose everything I've gained? The thing about fear, whether it's fear of failure or fear of success, is that it thrives on inaction. The more you avoid facing it, the stronger it becomes. But here's the good news. Fear can also be a guide. It shows you where the edge of your comfort zone is, and stepping beyond that edge is where growth happens. So, how do you overcome these fears? By reframing them. Instead of asking, what if I fail, ask, what if I never try? Instead of fearing success, embrace the idea that you are capable of evolving into the person who can handle it. And remember, courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward in spite of it. Every time you take a step toward your goals, even when you're scared, you weaken fear's grip on your life. Success isn't about eliminating fear, it's about refusing to let it control you. The question is, are you ready to step beyond the fear and into your potential? Because everything you want is waiting for you on the other side. The comfort zone. It's a cozy place, isn't it? Familiar routines, predictable outcomes, and no real surprises. It's where most people spend their lives because it feels safe. But here's the truth. The comfort zone is a trap. It's a place where dreams go to die and growth comes to a screeching halt. You see, nothing extraordinary ever happens in the comfort zone. Success, by its very nature, demands discomfort. It requires you to stretch, to challenge yourself, to take risks, and to face uncertainty. And that's why most people stay stuck. They mistake comfort for happiness, not realizing that comfort without progress eventually leads to frustration and regret. Think about this. Every great achievement in history came from someone who was willing to step into the unknown. From entrepreneurs building businesses out of nothing to athletes pushing their bodies to the limit, they all understood one thing. Growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone, not within it. But let's be honest. Leaving your comfort zone is hard. It's scary. Your mind will fight it every step of the way, whispering things like, what if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if this isn't worth it? These thoughts are your brain's way of protecting you from discomfort, but they're also the very chains that keep you from moving forward. Here's the key. You don't have to leap out of your comfort zone all at once. You don't have to make drastic changes overnight. Success is built through small, consistent steps into discomfort. It's about pushing your boundaries little by little until what once felt impossible becomes second nature. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting when you normally stay silent. Maybe it's starting that side project you've been thinking about for years. Maybe it's saying no to things that don't align with your goals, even if it feels awkward or risky. These small acts of courage add up over time. And here's the magic. Once you start stepping out of your comfort zone, you realize something incredible. The fear you felt, it wasn't as big as you thought. The challenges, they made you stronger. The risks, they led to rewards you couldn't have imagined. But the first step is always the hardest. It's the moment you decide to leave the warmth of what's familiar and step into the unknown. That's the moment that changes everything. Because beyond your comfort zone lies your potential, your growth, your success, your dreams. So ask yourself, are you willing to trade a little discomfort today for a lifetime of possibilities? If the answer is yes, then it's time to take that first step. Time is one of the most precious resources we have. Unlike money, it can't be earned back. Unlike opportunities, it doesn't come around again. Yet most people don't manage their time. They let it slip through their fingers. And the number one culprit, mismanagement. How many times have you said, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll get to it later, only to find that tomorrow becomes next week, next month, or even next year? That's procrastination, one of the biggest killers of success. It disguises itself as harmless, even logical. You tell yourself you're waiting for the right moment, but deep down you know the truth. The perfect moment doesn't exist. And then there's the issue of priorities. Success demands that you focus on what truly matters, but distractions are everywhere. Social media, endless notifications, unnecessary meetings, and even tasks that feel productive but don't actually move the needle toward your goals. It's easy to mistake being busy for being effective, but busyness is often just a distraction from what's really important. Here's the thing, every successful person you admire has the same 24 hours in a day as you do. The difference isn't time, it's how they use it. They don't just let their day happen to them, they take control of it. They know that every hour spent on something meaningless is an hour taken away from their dreams. To stop killing your success, you need to master your time. Start by getting clear on your goals. What do you really want to achieve? Once you know that, everything you do should align with those goals. If it doesn't, it's a distraction, and distractions have to go. Next, take a hard look at how you spend your time. Track it if you need to. Be honest with yourself. How much of your day is spent on activities that actually matter? How much is wasted scrolling, binge watching, or doing things out of habit rather than intention? Then make a plan. Successful people don't just react to their day, they plan it. They prioritize their most important tasks and tackle them first. They create boundaries around their time, saying no to anything that doesn't serve their goals. And they're consistent because success isn't about doing one big thing once. It's about doing the right things day after day. Finally, learn to value your time as much as, or even more than, your money. You wouldn't let someone walk into your house and steal your wallet, so why let distractions steal your time? Every minute you waste is a minute you can't get back. The truth is, time will pass whether you use it wisely or not. The question is, when you look back at your life, will you be proud of how you spent it, or will you wish you had started sooner, focused harder, and wasted less? The choice is yours. Success is waiting, but it won't wait forever. Make the time. The power of belief is one of the most underestimated forces in shaping success. What you believe about yourself, your abilities, and your potential determines how far you'll go. The problem, most people are stuck with limiting beliefs that act as invisible chains, holding them back from reaching their true potential. Limiting beliefs often sound like whispers in your mind. I'm not good enough. I don't have what it takes. People like me don't achieve things like that. These thoughts might feel like truths, but they're not. They're stories shaped by past experiences, failures, or even other people's opinions. And the more you repeat these stories to yourself, the more they become your reality. But here's the thing, beliefs are not facts. They're perceptions, and perceptions can be changed. The first step is becoming aware of the beliefs that are holding you back. Ask yourself, what stories am I telling myself about why I can't succeed? Are they based on evidence, or are they rooted in fear, doubt, or insecurity? For example, maybe you believe you're not talented enough, but have you ever stopped to question that? Have you considered that talent is only a starting point and that hard work, persistence, and learning can take you much further? Or maybe you think you're too old, too young, or too late. But history is full of people who defied those odds, proving that it's never too early or too late to start. Once you identify these limiting beliefs, the next step is to replace them with empowering ones. Instead of, I'm not good enough, tell yourself, I am capable of learning and improving. Instead of, I can't, say, I can figure it out. This isn't about blind optimism. It's about shifting your mindset to one that opens doors instead of slamming them shut. And here's why belief is so powerful. It drives your actions. If you believe you're capable, you'll take risks, work harder, and persist through challenges. But if you believe you're destined to fail, you won't even try, or you'll quit at the first sign of difficulty. Your beliefs create a self-fulfilling prophecy. Think of the most successful people you know or admire. They didn't get there because they never doubted themselves. They got there because they refused to let those doubts stop them. They chose to believe in their potential even when the odds were against them. And so can you. Belief isn't just a mindset, it's a decision. It's the choice to see yourself not as you are, but as you could be. It's the courage to dream bigger, push harder, and keep going even when it's hard. Because the moment you truly believe in yourself, everything changes. Limitations fall away, possibilities expand, and success becomes not just possible, but inevitable. So ask yourself, what do you believe about your potential? And if the answer doesn't empower you, it's time to rewrite the story. The future belongs to those who believe they can create it. Will you? Success doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't come without effort. Yet one of the biggest reasons people fail to achieve their goals is because they underestimate the importance of consistency. They start strong, full of energy and determination, but when the initial excitement fades, so does their commitment. They want results, but they're not willing to put in the steady day-to-day work that success demands. The truth is, consistency is the secret ingredient to achieving anything worthwhile. It's not about working hard once in a while. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when progress seems slow or invisible. But here's the challenge. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's not exciting to wake up early every day to exercise, study, or work on your dreams. It's not thrilling to say no to distractions or make sacrifices for a goal that feels so far away. And that's where most people fall short. They want the reward without the routine. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't plant it one day, water it once, and expect a tree to grow. You nurture it day in and day out, sometimes for weeks, months, or even years before you see the fruits of your labor. Success is the same way. Every small, consistent action you take is like a drop of water on that seed, slowly building towards something greater. But here's the catch. Inconsistency can kill your progress. Skipping one day might seem harmless, but one day turns into 2, then 3, and before you know it, you've lost momentum. And momentum is everything. It's what carries you forward when motivation fades. The key is to focus on building habits, not just chasing goals. Goals are important. They give you direction, but habits are what get you there. They create the foundation for long-term success by automating the actions you need to take. When you make consistency a habit, you don't have to rely on willpower alone, and you're far less likely to give up. And remember, consistency isn't about perfection. It's not about never making a mistake or missing a day. It's about getting back on track as quickly as possible. One slip up doesn't define you. It's your ability to keep going that matters. Successful people aren't superhuman. They're consistent. They understand that greatness is built in the small, unremarkable moments, the extra hour of practice, the late nights of preparation, the 1,000 tiny decisions to stay disciplined when it would have been easier to quit. So ask yourself, are you willing to put in the work day after day, even when the results aren't immediate? Because success doesn't come to those who do it right once. It comes to those who do it consistently. Over time, the little things add up to big results, and before you know it, you'll look back and realize that your persistence paid off. Success belongs to the consistent. Will you be one of them? Taking responsibility for your actions is one of the most empowering choices you can make. It's easy to blame external circumstances, your boss, your upbringing, the economy, your past mistakes, for why you're not where you want to be. But the truth is, no one is going to hand you success. No one is going to fix your problems for you. If you want to achieve anything meaningful, you have to own your choices, your actions, and your results. This might sound tough, but it's the only way to truly take control of your life. When you stop blaming others or external situations, you take back your power. You realize that you are the one in the driver's seat, and it's up to you to steer your life in the direction you want to go. Here's why responsibility is so crucial. When you take responsibility, you stop being a victim. You stop waiting for circumstances to change, for things to magically align. Instead, you start looking for solutions, for opportunities, and for ways to move forward regardless of what's happening around you. Let's be real. Life is tough. There will always be obstacles, challenges, and setbacks. But when you take responsibility, you stop seeing these challenges as excuses. You see them as opportunities to learn, to grow, and to prove to yourself that you can handle whatever comes your way